Hey, welcome to this new video series I'm starting where I rank all the movies I saw each month that I haven't previously talked about on this channel. I saw 7 new movies in January, and I'm gonna rank and talk about each one. So without further ado, Alice in Wonderland is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen in my life. This movie feels like a joke that I don't get. It's less of a movie and more so just a collection of really impressive animation and mediocre songs haphazardly stitched together. It feels like the characters never stand still, and sometimes it gets to the point where it feels like brain rot, because there always has to be something moving or some joke joking. I guess there were a couple funny bits I liked, like basically anytime the Queen of Hearts is on screen, she's pretty funny. And there was the part where the Mad Hatter and the March Hare try to fix the White Rabbit's watch with condiments. How have we as a society let Alice in Wonderland survive as one of the greatest pieces of fiction ever written for this long? People always talk about the fact that the story doesn't have any narrative coherence, but it's okay because it has fun and whimsy. No, it absolutely does not. I'm sure it was super cool when it released, and I'm sure that everyone involved had a ton of fun, but this movie is just nothing. It has nothing to it. What am I even supposed to gain from this? A couple brief funny moments and subpar song sequences that have no correlation whatsoever? Yeah, that's what I thought. Classic Disney, do better. Classic Disney always gets so much overblown praise, and I am sick of it. This and other classic Disney movies like it are for babies. Well, aside from like Captain Hook and Peter Pan, he's really funny. The rest of all these boring, impressively animated, cookie-cutter movies can stay away from me. They could have been written just as smartly as the live-action films of the time, and not have just been animation and songs, but no, they chose to be terrible. Also, the Matrix references were all very on point and clever. I liked those.
Say nothing of lions and wolves.
Wolves?
Weasels.
You play cribbage with a weasel?
Yeah, and he cheats like there's no tomorrow.
As an adaptation of the book, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is pretty decent. It's also pretty decent in every other way. It sticks incredibly close to the source material, only adding a couple new scenes that weren't in the book. And I think that's a good thing. The book is amazing, and it would be stupid to try to change that. The 4 main characters are all very interesting and have great chemistry as siblings, mostly thanks to the great performances. I especially like this part where Lucy asks if anyone wants to play hide and seek, and Peter just starts counting, and Edmund and Susan roll their eyes, but then play anyway. Like, that's exactly how older siblings act with the younger ones. As an allegory for Christianity, it totally works. Edmund has one of my favorite character arcs in all of fiction, and everyone else has pretty good arcs as well. This is really just a classic, heartwarming, good versus evil fantasy movie. The White Witch is a pure evil villain, Aslan, Peter, Lucy, and Susan are pure good heroes. There's swords, magic, fantasy creatures, and yeah. As someone who isn't even that big a fan of fantasy, this is a pretty great film with not much to talk about. Over the Hedge is a pure, fun, wild, crazy, absolute animal of a movie. This movie is about a gang of park animals who steal human food, you guys. Like, that's hilarious. Also, the characters in this movie are more enjoyable than about 95% of other characters in about 95% of other animated kids movies, mostly due to the hilarious writing paired with the delivery of the celebrities voicing them. Steve Carell, Bruce Willis, Gary Shandling, William Shatner, Wanda Sykes, Thomas Hayden Church, and Catherine O'Hara are all equally fantastic as their characters. The story is relatively formulaic, but sometimes that's all you need with a movie like this. Over the Hedge doesn't need to be super deep or thought-provoking, it can just be funny and charming. The 2000s suburban aesthetic is a pretty cool backdrop for these wild animals to run around in, and the Ben Folds song in the credits legit perfectly encapsulates the vibe. This movie isn't quite as funny as I feel like it should be, but whenever the humor hits, it really hits. But I do have to mention that no, I do not think the Verminator is the funniest villain in cinematic history. Chick Hicks and Vector clearly have been beat. But I'll still totally watch this movie once a year or so.
You know, because thunder always comes after lightning.
Thunderbolts is a movie I watched for New Year's Eve, so I didn't technically watch it in January, but come on, it's close enough. Okay, so this is the best MCU movie in years. A lot of recent MCU content has felt like it was really rushed and just trying to get out there to make Disney happy, but this one really had some care put into it. It's a character study into all the MCU characters left over from forgotten movies and Disney Plus shows that no one cares about. And what this movie does is make you care about those characters that you don't care about. It's truly astounding how attached people became to these characters after this movie came out. Right after it premiered, I saw thumbnails for tons of videos explaining why everyone was wrong to judge John Walker and why he's actually like better than Steve Rogers or whatever. And believe me, that was no coincidence. Each of these characters are all so likable, sympathetic, and real feeling. Yelena might just be my favorite female MCU character after this movie. I mean, she's certainly better than the likes of Captain Marvel and America Chavez. Her arc about depression is really impactful and moving, and I still love her dynamic with the Red Guardian. This team of people who all have their own issues and learn to let each other help with them. It's a fantastic premise, and it's executed to its fullest potential. They completely throw away the ideas of Joss Whedon and Taika Waititi and let serious moments be. It would have been so easy to undercut every single emotional moment with a stupid, unfunny joke, but they don't. There's not a single annoying character who quips at every opportunity, which is wonderful. In that character's place is Bob, who might be the most unique MCU character ever. He's absurdly powerful, but he doesn't even know it, and instead just believes he's a burden because that's what he's been told all his life. And he's even funny sometimes. The humor here isn't as prevalent as in most Marvel films, but that's okay because it's not about being funny. It's about pulling at your heartstrings and bringing the MCU out of its coma. The movies that have ranked above this one are definitely better, but I feel a more emotional attachment to this one than those. It has started to bring the MCU back in what one might call fantastic fashion, and I wouldn't pick any other movie to do that. This deserves all the praise it gets and more.
Okay, who here hasn't been to space?
The Martian was amazing. Best Picture nomination amazing. This is one of the only realistic space movies I've ever seen, and I really loved it. After years of futuristic Star Wars and Marvel space stuff, this is pretty refreshing for me. Matt Damon gives this incredible performance as this astronaut, and it's really interesting to see him get stranded on Mars and deal with all these obstacles. It's truly a testament to man's perseverance in dire circumstances. When he sees that he needs food, he grows potatoes out of his own poop. He sees that he can't communicate with NASA, so he finds an old Mars rover and builds a clever lettering system. I actually find it really cool that the people on Earth have to work seemingly just as hard as Mark to rescue him, despite having far superior resources. Every single character in this is either interesting or fun. Mostly interesting. Actually, I think the only fun ones were Donald Glover and Benedict Wong, but whatever. Even the rest of his team, who for some reason are on the International Space Station for most of this movie, are all cool to watch want to help save Mark. There's actually not much to say here as I thought there would be. It's a pretty fantastic movie.
If people believe you're a grown-up, we could do anything.
Shazam! Exclamation point is one of the best superhero movies I've ever seen. And I've seen a lot of superhero movies. Yeah, this movie is honestly a breath of fresh air compared to a lot of the genre. It's so fun, so funny, so heartwarming, so emotional, and just all around a fantastic time. Basically, it's about a kid who gets chosen to have the ability to turn into an adult, and instead of just gaining the superpowers of an adult, he gains the superpowers of a superhero. It's just like that Simpsons episode I can't remember the name of. So Billy Batson, the super kid, goes off and does super kid stuff with his foster brother who knows all about superheroes. They become internet sensations, beat up criminals, and do all that. They also buy beer, and they realize it's actually disgusting, and then buy snacks that they could have just bought as kids. It's like, come on, that's hysterical. These little escapades they get into just have so much fun to them that you just can't look away. Watching this buff grown man with superpowers hide behind this scrawny disabled kid when the gas station they're in is getting robbed is just too funny, man. But then the big evil guy comes in and wants to take Billy's power for himself. The first scene where Billy is running away from his is equal parts funny, sad, and scary. Zachary Levi really sells it as a kid in an adult's body, and in the first scene where he transforms into an adult, they actually show him hitting his head on stuff and getting used to the bigger body. That's something I've never seen addressed in body swap movies. It bugs me every single time, so it was really nice to see it here, even if it was only for a couple seconds. The fight Billy and Freddy get into is pretty sad, but also believable. Everything in this movie just works somehow. It's a freaking miracle of a movie. I cannot stress that enough. The only bad thing I can really say about it is that it's technically part of the larger DCEU, and all the references are really distracting.
This right here is my favorite thing, ever. In the history of forever.
Toy Story is a unique animated franchise. It actually reminds me a lot more of adult drama films than animated kids movies. But I adore it anyway. Toy Story 2 is a masterpiece, and might be my favorite Pixar movie. Woody's arc in this is phenomenal. The pacing is phenomenal. The animation is phenomenal for 1999 at least. As a sequel, it's perfect. That is to say, it does what a sequel should perfectly. It introduces fun new locations and characters, it expands on the themes of the original, and leaves a lasting positive impression on the franchise. Like I said, Woody's arc is so unique and clever. Like, he goes from not wanting to go to the museum to wanting to go to the museum to not wanting to go to the museum, all in a really compelling way. Do you know how hard of an arc that is to pull off? I'm a writer, and I've never even attempted something like that in my books. And it's not just Woody that has an arc during this movie, it's you. Every time Woody changes his mind, so do you. When he decides he'd be better off at the museum, you do as well. And in that indescribable scene when Buzz makes Woody realize what Woody made him realize in the first movie, that life's only worth living if you're being loved by a kid, you realize the same thing. The Toy Story movies, and especially this one, are in general about as laid back and chill as movies get. There's not typically too much happening in any given scene, but it never feels like it's dragging or too slow, because anything that is happening is so profound, emotional, and amazing. The only part of this movie I don't like, or maybe I just don't get it, is everything with Buzz and the other toys trying to find Woody. I mean, they're really funny whenever they do show up, but they didn't really need this much screen time. Buzz is the only one who ended up adding anything. I guess maybe you could draw a comparison from Rex's arc to Woody's arc in that they both realized that they didn't need to accomplish something else and they already had what they wanted, but I really doubt that's what the screenwriters were thinking. But all in all, this movie is incredible. An animated film for the ages.